Alright, tube, we're back, of course, talking the FF7 Remake. We got kind of a smaller update today, but still an important one. The mocap actors for a lot of the main cast for FF7 Remake were working together today. I guess Japan time, it was yesterday, but today for us. So we had the Cloud mocap actor drop this tweet today with a long string of hashtags and a few images. And it said, "Today we had a large group for filming the cutscene with action scenes and acting scenes. It was a lively and fun shoot with everyone, including Kawabuchi-chan, I don't know how you say the name, dude, but as the mocap actor for Yuffie. On our fourth consecutive day, we all took a group photo. Thanks for your hard work today as well." And here we have the two images that were alongside this tweet, and through the accounts that were tagged with the initial tweet itself, people in the community just knowing what the mocap actors look like, but also with the hashtags on the tweet, we know that pretty much everybody here, if not everybody here, is a mocap actor for FF7 Remake. So with these images, we know that there's obviously 8 people here, and with people in the community kind of, breaking the shit down or whatever, we know who 6 of them are. 6 of the mocap actors for FF7 Remake, the main party, have been accounted for. There's obviously no mocap actor for Aerith here in this scene, which makes sense. She is dead. Obviously, Aerith is going to be in the next game, but I think it'd also be a spoiler if the mocap actor for Aerith was in a photo with these guys that work on the remake games and do a mocap work with them. That's obviously a major spoiler, even though we know it's probably going to happen. The other 2 that are unaccounted for from the main party are Sid and Vincent, which would equal the 8 that are left with the main party after Aerith does die, of course. There is no dedicated mocap actor for those characters, at least in the credits for Rebirth. Obviously, somebody did mocap work for them. I don't know who's credited for that somewhere, if anywhere. But I assume there's no mocap actor credited for them just because they weren't fighting, right? Like, that's when the next game is when they'll probably have, like, a dedicated mocap actor for them. But, like, whoever was doing, like, the Sid and Vincent shit for Rebirth, they just had to, like, kind of walk around and do a little bit of stuff, not necessarily, like, super in-depth mocap work, I guess. And that's maybe why there's not a credit for it. I don't know. So anyways, getting back to the mocap shit and why it's interesting and what it could mean. For one, mocap work generally is going to be done kind of early on, you would think, or at least that's what it usually is, just because, like, the people making the game, the artists and stuff, need that footage to be able to make the game, right? They got to put Cloud's character model over that mocap work. Kind of at first glance, it was a bit jarring to see them still be doing mocap work, just because I feel like we should be kind of far along. We've been in full development for almost a year. Come November, I think, last November is when they announced that they're in full development, but they've been working on the third game since even before Rebirth came out, right? So before February 2024. So sometime since 2023 or so, they've been kind of steadily working on the game. So you would think that they've been doing mocap work for quite a long time at this point. So that, for me, makes me think that the mocap work they're doing is for, like, later game shit. Especially considering that a lot of what they did with Rebirth is just going to be, like, transferred over to the third game, right? Because you already have, like, most of the world design. You have all the different combat and shit for all the different characters. A lot of that's just going to be, like, copy and pasted to the third game, you would think, right? Now, in trying to, like, think about what potentially this mocap work could be done for, it's kind of hard to, just because for what's left of the FF7 story, Disc 2 and Disc 3 based on the original game, the whole party's together for most of that. Like, obviously, Cloud disappears for a bit, and we try to, like, track down where he's at, and then once we find him based on the original game, Tifa leaves the party as well, right? The party's captured, like, the North Crater or whatever. Obviously, we get separated there, right? But for generally what's left of the FF7 story, the party's together the whole time. I mean, technically with the original game, the way they handled the PHS system, we are separated, but you can, like, switch people in and out at any point, right? Whenever you want to. So with the way they're going to do it in the remake games, we're going to be traveling together, all of us, all 8 of us, not 9 of us, because one of us is dead. So in my kind of, like, thinking of what this could be, I'm thinking late game shit, mocap work. It could be really anything, because there's a lot of times where our group's all together. I was thinking, like, North Crater shit. I don't know if it's, like, when we bring the Black Materia to Sephiroth, or if it's, like, into the game North Crater shit. That's where I initially went to. But Cloud giving the Black Materia to Sephiroth isn't late game shit. That's when you first get to North Crater. That's not too long after you start Disc 2. I mean, it's a couple hours in, probably, but not too long. But also with the group being together, it could be, again, anywhere. It's kind of hard to even really speculate on that. I was just thinking it could be like a general high wind scene. I don't know. But we do get some pieces of evidence if we look back at the Cloud mocap actor tweet. So first off, he says, "Today we had a large group for filming the cutscene. With action scenes and acting scenes, it was a lively and fun shoot with everyone." And the main thing that stands out for me for that is that he does say it's a cutscene, which, again, there could be a lot of fucking cutscenes in the next game, so it's hard to speculate on that. But he does say that it's action and acting scenes. So it wasn't just like them doing mocap work for, like, combat or something, or fighting or some shit, right? They're actually doing acting scenes together, which does mean that it is a cutscene, which is a little bit interesting. But it's really the next bit that I think is maybe the most interesting piece of evidence for what this could be. Because he says that it's the Yuffie mocap actor's 4th consecutive day. So they have the Yuffie mocap actor working, like, several days in a row doing mocap work, right? So what does that sound like to you? Because I'm thinking Wutai. That makes the most sense to me. And we know for sure that Wutai is coming next game. I mean, obviously it is. It's the last game in the trilogy, so it has to be. But also we know it's not going to be an optional location this time like it was with the original FF7. So they're going to have to find a way to incorporate the Wutai segments from the original game into the third game story. I just don't know how they're going to do it, because what happens here is pretty interesting, but it's not necessarily relevant to the overall story. You obviously get some cool stuff for the character of Yuffie, like what her motivations were in the original game, one to steal our materia, and then also just that it's her homeland. You meet her father and shit with the pagoda tower, all that other stuff. You also get to run with the Turks, which is pretty interesting. And then obviously running into Don Corneo and getting to fucking finally kill him, which is awesome. Like, so I can't wait for that moment in the game, assuming that we do that again, of course. We know Don Corneo's alive, so we got to do that, I'm assuming. But I don't know how they're going to incorporate Wutai into like the overall story with the remake trilogy, as in why the hell are we going there? We gotta have like a reason to go to Wutai, especially because it's like out of the way over here across the world, right? So like I don't know if we go there for like Yuffie's sake. Maybe we go there because she promises us some like helpful materia that'll help us defeat Sephiroth. I don't know what's gonna happen exactly, right? But we gotta have a reason to go there in the third game. I'm just kind of unsure what that'll be. Yeah, given what Yamazaki says in his tweet, I think there's decent odds that it's Wutai stuff they were recording for. It's also possible they just got the Yuffie mocap actor just doing other shit for the last couple days or whatever. Like that's also possible. Again, it could be goddamn anything when you got the whole team together for the third game. Like I don't know. It can be literally fucking goddamn anywhere in the game outside of the times where the brief times that the party separated, right? So it's kind of hard to really speculate. But I think just maybe Wutai. So looking at the Yuffie mocap actor's Twitter account, yesterday she did post a selfie with Yamazaki, the mocap actor for Cloud, of course. And she said, "Thank you for today's recordings too. Come on, just a bit more. Let's keep pushing through the rest. Every day with different titles, but on day 3 this week was Yamachan, whom I'm working with. All right, since the visual shoot for Villa Rec is next week, I'll move things along and head to the site too. Thank you everyone for today as well." So yeah, yesterday she did mocap work with specifically, it seems, the Cloud mocap actor. And then today did mocap work with what appears to be the whole entire party for FF7 Remake, right? Minus Aerith. So it definitely seems like they're doing mocap work for FF7. Now, the fact that she did a scene specifically with Cloud, again, I think leads me to believe that it would maybe be something Wutai. Because obviously, Cloud's main character, that's who you control for most of the game. If there's a scene that specifically with just Cloud and Yuffie, that'd probably be in Wutai. Maybe. Again, pure speculation. There could be other moments in the next game where it's just like a Cloud and Yuffie scene or whatever. I don't know, right? Just throwing that out there. What are the thoughts? What I think's going on? Kind of been a while since we did like a mocap actor video. We did talk about some mocap stuff not too long ago, like 4 or 5 months ago, whenever Cody Christian announced to the world is recording for Cloud, right? We were thinking Part 3 stuff at the time. We did not know about Final Fantasy Tactics and that it was going to have like voice acting. So that might have been what he was recording for, just because there's not that many lines for Cloud, right? But regardless, at that point we talked about some mocap stuff. And I know we talked about mocap shit like right before the Summer Game Fest trailer for Rebirth. But besides those 2 videos, and there's a lot of time between them, it's been more than I think like 3 years since we did like a mocap actor related video. So it's kind of fun to talk about this a bit, kind of speculate, whatever. It could be anything. They could be doing mocap work for literally the fucking beginning of the game. I don't know, man. It's kind of rough. I speculated that it might be like in-game stuff, but there's nothing saying that they're doing mocap work like in order, right? They could be doing all over the place. That happens a lot with like movies and shit. They record that shit out of order usually. I'm assuming mocap work isn't like just straightforward all the time. So like it could be at any point in the game really they're doing the shit, but I just think Wutai makes the most sense. So of course, where I pass off to you guys, what are your thoughts on this? It seems like the whole party is doing mocap work together, right? There's 8 people there. 6 of them are for sure the main party members for FF7 Remake. What do you think it could be for? Anyways, that is the video, my dude. Subscribe channel if you guys are new, search in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @FF7R. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.